You want to listen to a podcast?
By who?
Georgia GOP Congressman Doug Collins.
How is it?
The greatest thing I have ever heard in my whole life.
I could not believe my ears.
In this house, wherever the rules are disregarded, chaos and mob rule. It has been said today, where is bravery? I'll tell you where bravery is found and courage is found. It's found in this minority who has lived through the last year of nothing but rules being broken, people being put down, questions not being answered. And this majority say, be damned with anything else. We're going to impeach and do whatever we want to do. Why? Because we won an election. I guarantee you, one day you'll be back in the minority and it ain't going to be that fun. Hey everybody, it's Doug Collins. Welcome back. It's Friday's Finest. Yes, you've made it to the end of another week. Can you believe it? Yes, but you've also made it to the end of the week in which pro football is back. College football came back last week, and I so appreciate Chip Lake and James filling in on Friday's Finest. You got all the information. You got to deal into those wonderfully we'll just say the Florida Gators and others, but I was glad that you got to be a part of that, and thanks for Chip for filling in. We'll have Chip more often as the season progresses on some of these games, talking college football, talking pro football. We'll get him all in as well, maybe get a little political out of him as well. You never know. Chip's a good guy. But today we got a lot coming up. We're going to hit on our picks for the week. We're also going to talk about UFOs. We're going to talk about other shows on the air. We're going to talk about the drama that is going on all over the country, because this is Friday's Finest. It's not just football. It's not just zoos. It's not just everything. It is everything that is worth talking about here on this podcast. But we're glad you're here. The Doug Collins Podcast. By the way, still, I get a lot of email from many of you. Hit the Doug Collins Podcast link, DougCollinsPodcast.com. Hit the email button and shoot me an email. I typically can't get to all of them, but I try to as much as I can. At least read them and look over them. If you have any ideas for Friday's Finest or any other show notes, please let me know, and we'll be ready to go with that. So right now, just wait for after the break. After the break, we're going to come back, and we will be into Friday's Finest. Hey, folks, when you look out and you see the country and just the disarray it is, you see the Biden administration, you see the wholesale prices have just went through the roof again. Inflation is tearing us up. If you have your finances all impinged in just a few areas, if you're just in stocks and bonds and you're not diversified, I got some news for you. You need a navigator. You need somebody to help you get to where you need to go with those finances. And I can't think of anybody better to do that than my friends at Legacy Precious Metals. You need precious metals in that portfolio. You need gold and silver. And Legacy Precious Metals, the folks there, they're the navigators. They know how to deal with tough times. They know and how to look ahead and take your personal situation and make it something that can be workable for you in the long term, because that's, at the end of the day, that's the one you're most concerned about. You need to make sure that your personal finances and your retirement are secure. You need folks like Legacy Precious Metals helping you in that. They will take the time to learn you. They'll learn your finances. They'll learn where your investment goals are, and they'll help you get there. And metals and gold right now, in this kind of crazy inflation, in this kind of crazy economy with the Biden's economy, is just, you need that help. And Legacy Precious Metals is the one to do that. So give Legacy Precious Metals a call, 866-528-1903, 866-528-1903, or you can always visit them online at legacypminvestments.com, and you can download their free investor's guide. Legacy Precious Metals, they're the ones you need. They're the navigators to help you through these turbulent times. Hey everybody, it's MyPillow's 20th year anniversary, and over 80 million MyPillows have been sold. Mike Lindell and MyPillow wants to thank each of you and every one of you for giving you the lowest price in history on their MyPillows. You will receive a queen-size MyPillow for $19.98. Regular price is $69.98, and just $10 more for a king size. You will receive deep discounts on all MyPillow products, such as bed sheets, mattress toppers, pet beds, mattresses, my slippers, and so much more. This is a time to try out something other than the amazing products that you've had your eye on. Go to mypillow.com, click on the radio podcast square, and use the promo Collins, Collins, to receive this amazing offer on the queen size MyPillow for $19.98, or call 800-986-3994. This offer comes with a 10-year warranty and 60-day money-back guarantee. It's time to start getting the quality sleep you deserve. You know how I know that? Because I sleep on a MyPillow every night. Go to mypillow.com and use promo code Collins, Collins, or call 800-986-3994 today. Okay, it's back now. We're here. We're ready to go. I'm glad to be back in. I've been traveling and doing Air Force duty and everything else for the last little bit, but we're back on Friday's Finest now. James, we're back in it. How is James today?
James is living the dream, Doug, as always. Football's back, and I'm ready to cry and
be sad and be happy all in one week.
Well, you don't have to do that tonight. The Vikings are not playing last night, so they'll play till Sunday, so you'll be ready to go. By the way, just as a note, I was sitting here watching something, and it was coming up as the Alabama offensive lineman, 6'7", 369, 6'5", 353, 6'6", 356. This is bigger than a pro line.
Yeah, no, that's disgusting.
I just throw this in for, for that. Look, folks, we throw in things for free on the podcast. That was a freebie. Okay. You come to the podcast, you get free things, you get information. You may even get an appearance by Cree, the Wonder Dog. If she wakes up, probably not, but we'll see. So we just throw in free things like this. And again, thanks, James, for you and Chip handling the ship last week.
Chip crushed it. He did great.
Chip's a good one. I like Chip. Not only can we do politics, but we can do football and everything else as well. A little bit of things going on here. You and I, let's first get in some. We're going to get into some football. We'll have our picks here in a little bit. But, there's a lot of stories out there. And this is one. I'm going to go back to something that I don't know I don't know how I feel about this. Why is it that the Royals, and I mean not the baseball Royals, but the royal family in England, why is it that people care so much about that?
Doug, I've been asking myself that for quite some time because I can't stand them. And I think they're annoying, and I think it's ridiculous because they have no real power and all that nonsense. But I think it's just the idea. What is that? What am I looking
corn.
at?
It is back.
Candy corn. Wait, hold on. Do you just eat candy corn? Like, do you enjoy it?
No, I like candy corn. In fact, I'll eat some candy corn right now for you.
Just stuff. That's terrible. Candy corn's the worst. It's not even a candy.
No. We're not going to. No. This is the Doug Collins show. We're not going to disparage candy corn here. I'm sorry. See, this is. You know what?
As your producer, I'm gonna hold off on this, but I'm writing a strongly worded letter to the company to get you fired over this because candy corn is.
Hey, if they respond, let me know.
James, we can't fire a host because he likes candy corn. But in all seriousness, I'm with you, Doug. Like, I don't really get that. I think it's just the idea that, like, there's some super rich, powerful people that get to do whatever they want when they want. They're like the Kardashians. That we care about the Kardashians here.
No, we really don't.
Overseas, they care about the Royals. It's the exact same thing, and they're both awful. And I believe that Creed agrees.
Yeah, Cree agrees with me that candy corn is fabulous, and that the Royals, I don't get it, and that she wouldn't watch Kardashians if she had to. So, anyway, no, but I was reading a story, and it was like, William, who's going to be king, is so upset because Harry's now coming over, and they have such a strained relationship. And I like the historical Royals. I guess the old Royal show from The Crown on Newsmax, great channel.
That'd be a hell of a show
on Netflix. Now,
yeah,
but. It is, like I said, you just see these pop up all the time. It's like, have there ever been two more? I mean, and I say this with, look, I'll probably get a lot of emails about this one. If there's ever been two more grifters in the world than Meghan and Harry, I ain't got a clue who they are.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
But I'm hearing that there's trouble in paradise there. I mean, if we really want Friday's finest stuff here, they're staying apart.
South Park did an entire episode about them, where they were yelling at people, telling them that they want privacy, but they kept going in front of people and yelling they want privacy. And just the idea of, like, them, that's all they did, is they were like, we want to be left alone, but they did every talk show on the planet. Like, if you want to be left alone, then go away.
Yeah, then don't do the thing and don't sign up for videos.
It's so funny. It's a ridiculous thing because, like, it's about tradition and all. No, it's about people who have a ton of money who want to keep their money and live a lavish lifestyle. That's all it is.
Well, the question is what actually, at least, and I'll say this in fairness, and I like how you said this before, Netflix has sort of pushed the Suits episodes down this summer. But Merkel could at least act a little bit. I'm not going to say she was bad at it.
Yeah, listen, she was an actor for a reason. Yes, she's pretty, but that's not the only reason they hire people. There's plenty of ugly people that are actors. But I'm just saying, like, she obviously had a good job, but then she, it's not the worst thing in the world to be married to someone who's literal royalty. Am I right?
Oh yeah. Well, I guess what we'll see here. But Harry would be good at I guess going back to the Royal Marines or whatever. But I mean, what else is sort of the qualifications here for Harry?
His qualifications is that he's rich and he's British, and honestly, that's the qualifications to be top dog in life. British and rich.
Well, but his brother's going to be king, so he's sort of
Yeah.
up there. But as the title of his book, he's a spare. So, but he's not even now the spare. So, I mean, he can't even claim that title anymore.
Yeah, because they gave it all up to.
Well, no,
people.
but I mean, he wouldn't get it at all anyway, because now it goes to George Williams' kid.
Oh, right. Because it's their stupid bloodline.
Completely.
Thing. It's just a very watered down, very sad version of Game of Thrones with no blood.
Yeah, it is pretty wild, the sense. And look, I've got a lot of British friends, and I think it's interesting, and I think they're never gonna, really do away with it, although they've talked about it a lot. It's just a, really interesting setup. But I guess I just brought it up simply because I keep seeing these things, and this is Friday's Finest, so we always talk about this stuff. How about you want to speak about something that's really nuts, and how everything these days, and this goes back to my days as in my life as being a son of a Georgia State trooper. Look, if you're in the public spotlight, you're going to get caught, and especially if you're doing things you probably shouldn't be doing, you're going to get caught. And with everybody having a cell phone camera these days, it's probably going to be worse. And did you see in the Maryland? Have you seen this, James? The Maryland cop who is caught with his mistress. They're kissing outside of his cop car, and then they get into the back seat of the cop car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I saw this because I read it. Hold on. I want to be clear. I read it, and they said she might have been a prostitute.
Well, that's what it was originally, I think, thought of. And now the authoritative version of this, the New York Post, is actually saying that Law and Order mistress filmed kissing married Maryland cop is a mom who alleges 2-year long fling. I've done nothing wrong.
Oh, still, yeah. First of all, don't roll up in a cop car to your mistress's house.
Yeah, or in a park. I mean, they're in a park. They're in a public place.
Nobody's going to film you if you're wearing a white T-shirt and you're driving a Corolla. But if you got the blue uniform on or black uniform, whatever he's wearing, and you got strobe lights or the police lights, people are going to film you. That's just how the world works now.
Yep. Well, and that's exactly what has happened. So it is but anyway,
you got caught. Good.
This goes back to the old saying here, if you don't want it on page 6, then, don't go out and do it because people are gonna talk about it as it goes. Moving on in to other topics here. The Pat McAfee show started today on Thursday. Started yesterday on ESPN. I don't know if you had a chance to catch it or not, but here's a hot take on Pat McAfee. I'm not a hater of McAfee. I actually like him. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I heard something the other day that I think does. It seems at times he tries too hard. To be that guy, that likable, that sort of grown up.
He is making his brand though. Like it is his brand. So it's like that is who he. Like I'm not saying maybe he hams it up a little bit, but did you watch it?
I did actually.
Okay, I didn't watch it because I've watched the show on YouTube a million times.
Well, I watched it, and here's my hot take. All right, and this is coming from somebody who said, "Hey, I actually enjoyed it." My son, and he's regular on the show, Bo. I mean, he said he liked it, but the question that I have is, and maybe this is just me, does it not seem like I'm gonna get in trouble here, a fraternity version of Dan Patrick's show?
That's not the worst description of it. And I think the thing is that the Dan Patrick show is the blueprint for success.
Right.
And I think guys you
got Dan
Rich
and the
Eisen
Dan
has a similar situation with his crew, and I think McAfee does it as well. You're right. It is you can call it a frat boy version, and that's not to say that like they're frat boy idiots, just like they're just like 30-year-olds. They're dumb guys like the rest of us. Like that's why they're so appealing, I think.
Well, it just amazed me because I'll be frank, I'd never watched McAfee's show. I'd seen little clips like when he had Aaron Rodgers on there or whatever, but I never watched the show until today.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I said, okay, like he's got this dude's hanging over here. He's got these two guys at desk here, and he's got this guy over here, and he's got the one in the booth. And it's like, okay, wait, I've seen this before.
That's right.
And
because it's a blueprint to success. It is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can call it that, but I mean, as someone, okay, and again, I'm going at this as someone who sees this for the first time, okay?
Sure.
I was surprised.
What were you expecting, I guess, would be my point.
Yeah, it was not, I was expecting, I guess, something else. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. I thought, okay, again, as someone who's never watched this show, I just thought it was the Pat McAfee show. I just thought it was Pat, talking like I do sometimes, or I did on my radio show. We talk to guests and we have people in. Look, I like the style. I like going around and talking, to others and, sort of making it that way. I was just, again, maybe it was just me. I was just sort of shocked at how, I guess, obviously the format was very, I'm not going to say a takeoff, but the format was very, Dan Patrick and the Dan.
Oh, for sure. I would even argue he probably would agree with you. Like I really do. I think that because it totally is, because there's all his guys are in there, and they all clearly have a role. And there's the one guys they make fun of. There's the ones that agree with Pat. Like there's just a lot, a lot of similarities to Dan Patrick. But I was curious because, like, I know I've seen the show a bunch of times. I actually watched it a lot recently for whatever reason, and I think they always crush their interviews. I think they do great interviews, but I don't know if it changes on ESPN because I know they can't curse and all this stuff. So,
well, he's on a time delay.
Do they cut out the cursing?
Yeah, they've actually done. They actually are doing the 7 or 10 second time delay.
Oh, good.
On McAfee show because of.
I'm not saying you have to curse to be interesting, but like that is kind of part of their show, and I don't want them to lose authenticity. So that's good. All right, good.
Yeah, no, they're gonna let it go. But I think the interesting thing is I think if you get into the fire trucks and other language, I think you won't hear those. But if you stream it
on YouTube
or whatever, it's still it's uncensored.
Yeah, they wouldn't. I'm surprised ESPN let them stream it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's just really Well,
doesn't make sense.
There's another aspect to this that he's actually, and this is an interesting thing for ESPN. They're actually buying it, or anyway, they're renting it, or however you want to put it, from McAfee. So they're not producing it; they're actually buying the show, so to speak. They're
talking about the money. I don't care what anyone says. I know people dogged him saying that he sold out, but isn't that the point?
But
isn't the point is getting to that point?
Yeah, he went from 140 million to 80 million. And I guess what he's counting on is, more revenue from other things and sales and all this kind of crap. But
he's going to make a ton of money.
Oh, yeah.
I just everyone always talks about people selling out, but you don't work that hard not to do the things that people consider selling out.
Yeah.
Well, that's just people who can't sell out.
Well, the interesting question for me would be, is this the only deal he has with ESPN? Okay.
No.
Or is he paid separately for the College Game Day and other stuff? And because I did read an article where, look, he's having to pay these other guys and, and if he's actually royaltying the shows, which is how he's supposedly doing this to ESPN, he's having to take that money and then pay employees, so to speak. So $80 million could go, it would drop down pretty quickly if you're cowing all the expenses. And I know this sounds, bad maybe for people who don't, can't imagine how could you spend $80 million. Well, frankly, if you're putting on a production and a show like that and you're paying people, I mean, it'll lead into it pretty quick.
That money will disappear real quick.
Oh yeah. So, it's just an interesting way to look at it as we go forward. But again, I think I wanted to bring it up today on the Friday's Finest because, it was, Thursday show and Friday they'll have another show of it and, we'll see how it goes. And I guess for me though, for somebody who works a lot at home and works at, traveling, the 12 o'clock Sports Center was always my lunchtime thing.
Yeah.
and now they moved it to the other station. I guess you can still get it, but they bumped it off of ESPN2 or whatever it is. So.
I think Doug, when to bring up, because like I'm a Sports Center kid. I think I was very much just in the prime of Sports Center as a kid,
Yep.
maybe a little before me, but like that time, Sports Center's gone downhill to me. It's kind of pointless. It's not very good, and I don't need all my sports news comes on here, so I don't need it. But they knew ESPN knew they needed something to keep people interested in ESPN because Stephen A. isn't working 24. He can't do every show. He just can't.
Well, Get Up and First Take get old after 6 hours.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, oh my God. And now Shannon's going to be on it, which is going to be fun. I like Shannon. I think he's crazy, but I love him to death.
Oh, did you hear him call Stephen A?
Yeah, he called him Skip, and then Stephen A. wore a name tag.
Yeah, Stephen A. wore a name tag. I thought that was so cool. That was pretty good.
But to real quick before we move on, to your point about McAfee getting paid for other things, I believe Pat McAfee's thinking about his future is like, maybe I could do this show forever, but if I don't want to do this show forever, I can be good in with ESPN. He's going to have a job doing something in his later years. Like he'll be in the booth for something. And he knows that, and he knows if he has a good relationship with ESPN, he may not have to worry about it. That's where I'm thinking for Pat McAfee, and definitely for ESPN because people like Pat McAfee. I don't know a lot of people who hate him, honestly, and I'm definitely not one of them. I love him. So,
well, well, speaking of that though, have you started hearing something? I mean, this was on Feinbaum and some others. There's a why did you get rid of Pollock and keep McAfee kind of thing going on right now?
Yeah, I've been hearing that. I thought I don't think Pollock's as bad at his job. I just thought he was boring, and they wanted to bring in something fresh. I just feel like there's a million Pollocks. Am I wrong?
No, I mean I don't necessarily say you're wrong. I think Pollock worked at it. I mean, he was trying. I mean, I'm not sure what Pollock's doing these days.
He wasn't bad by any stretch. I don't think anyone would think Pollock was bad, but like, don't pretend that like him and McAfee are on the same level as far as like the reason ESPN would take him is because he's exciting and Pollock just maybe not.
Yeah,
that just makes sense to me.
Well, they're trying to find the replacement that's going to have to occur, and we may not talk. We're probably going to talk about it today, but we'll probably talk about it at another Friday's Finest. That's the replacement of Lee Corso?
100%.
Okay, and I think that's look, I love Lee to death. And watching Lee was always funny, but you can just tell the time is getting to where this mayor.
Yeah, he's getting older. Things happen. You got to move on eventually. I mean, I'm surprised Al Michaels is still doing stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them. Well, this is where it really is interesting for me. They put Aikman and Buck and put them on the prime time,
ESPN.
Which. Yeah. It's like, okay, you sort of get lost. I mean, look, I watch Thursday Night Football. I watch Monday Night Football to an extent. But if I watch pro football, it's going to be Sunday. That's my main day to watch college football because I don't have a lot of time.
And I'm on Red Zone anyway. It's me and Scott Hansen.
Yeah, I don't have Red Zone. So
what are you doing?
My son asked me that about Sunday Ticket. We were talking about Red Zone is all the touchdowns.
Yeah, I like Red Zone.
Yeah, Sunday Ticket is the one that I said, I could see me having to explain to Lisa why I'm going to pay $400 and something to watch, to have access to all these pro football games, of which I probably will not watch most of.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Red Zone makes sense. Like, it's a pretty good, it's a super fair deal for the year, and you're still watching live games for the most part. They just flip on to when occasionally there's a touchdown, and then they just show live games, and you watch. Listen. The way I see it, if I need to go to I don't want to have to pay for ESPN, so I'll just go to the bar. That's worth it to me.
Well, speaking of media popularity and stars and everything, this is also the week for your former backyard up in New Jersey for the Giants and the football Jets to be starting off, of course, with Aaron Rodgers starting his first campaign with the New York football Jets. And Aaron Rodgers has never won for a lack of excitement, I guess is the best way to put it. And from his drug experiences in Central America to everything else, but he came out with one that sort of stole the internet this week, and that is he actually says that he saw UFOs.
He sure did.
Yep. He said it was like a scene out of Independence Day when the ships are coming into the atmosphere and they're creating this kind of explosion-type fire in the sky. We just saw this incredibly large object and froze as anybody would.
Doug, we're no strangers to the extraterrestrial on this show because,
no,
much like you, I believe.
Yeah.
And based off a lot of the things that we have, a lot of the people we've had on the show, we've had not just one person who was running a committee about this and had a whole court case about a hearing about this, but we have had other people and talked about it.
Yeah, I mean,
the only problem with Aaron Rodgers is he might have been on ayahuasca when it was happening, and there may be some conflicting reports.
Well, that is the question that I am asking is, was there a little ayahuasca going on here? Or was this pre that in his life, since this was supposedly back in 2005?
Oh, if it's in 2005, then yeah, then this is probably pre-ayahuasca, pre-open mind Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, listen, I'm never opposed to someone telling me they saw a UFO. Me and my brother the other night thought we saw one because we saw something going in a strange pattern, but I didn't think anything of it because if they are here. So what was that?
You're in Texas too, so there could be a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in Texas, and one of them may be aliens. But yeah, I mean, like I feel like I've seen it 3 times. I'll tell you one, Doug. Is one of my friends. Not to get too into the woods about it, but he texts me and he goes, "Hey man, I think I'm freaking out." And I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "I'm freaking out, man." And I said, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Listen, I don't want to get into the weeds here, but I ate some brownies, and wait."
Okay.
And he goes, "I'm pretty sure."
Starts off as I ate some brownies. There's an issue
He
here.
goes, "I'm pretty sure the aliens are coming." And I'm like, "All right, take a deep breath. What are you talking about?" Do you remember there was a night a couple years ago, probably like 5 years ago, where Elon Musk launched a ship into space and it was all blue, and that was before people knew that's what was happening. People were videotaping it.
Right.
So it was all on social media, and he sends me the link, and I'm like, oh my God, maybe there are aliens. But I'm just in his mind for a minute. We found out it's Elon Musk a little later, but I'm picturing like being in the mind of someone who's stoned out of their mind, and they actually probably for a moment were like, oh, this is it. It's over. Independence Day is here, and I'm dead. That was he literally said, he goes, I thought that was it, and I was going to have to go get my family. I was like, hey, man, we're safe, but like, listen, that's what it'll do to you. It made me laugh every time I think
brownies, okay?
Yeah. Maybe you need to lay off going to space yourself there, champ.
Yeah. This is
anyway, yeah, it just made me laugh. I always think about that story. It always makes me laugh.
That is wild. As we go, all right. As we look at the craziness around us, and we've touched on most everything as we go here. I do have one, and you being from the New York, New Jersey area, it is sort of amazing to me. This is our one, I could say hard news story of the day. And that is that the mayor of New York is now saying that the migrant crisis will destroy New York. Now, this is the same city that is a sanctuary city because they thought it was so unfair for those people down in Texas and other places that were getting overrun by migrants to actually enforce the law and send them back across the border. And so they're a sanctuary city, and yet you have hypocrisy in action with Eric Adams saying they may ruin our city. There's also stories in the New York Post today about a high school in Queens that they're having to shake down. They're having to put kids in trailers and everywhere else because they don't have enough room to put them in the buildings. And, this is, people are only going to be, liking this for, I look, it's just interesting to me. You say that you're, sanctuary city. Okay, fine. But the minute they get there, you say, oh, no, this is going to destroy our city. And we're, at this point, when's the cause for xenophobic Eric Adams going to be?
Yeah, Doug, well, first of all, we'll never know because well, you know what? We'll find out pretty quickly because if you do say something like that, I'm curious to see. Maybe we should go check out some of the other news sites to see what they've said. But So I left when he got there.
Yep.
Okay, he's been in there 2 years now, about right.
Yep. Yeah, he's pretty close. Yeah.
So I don't have like a pulse of like what people think about him, because when I was there, everyone hated De Blasio, left or right. I don't know how people feel about him. I just don't. So like, I can't get I don't really know. But like, if you call yourself a sanctuary city, and then you fall back on it and publicly say that things are going to be destroyed because of them, that's like, wherever you fall on the border problem. If you call yourself a sanctuary city and you act like we're going to take you in no matter what, and then you fall back on an act like they're going to do, the people that you said to come here are going to destroy you. That's the obvious, the height of hypocrisy.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really weird at this point. Speaking of, we'll do a sort of a lightning round here for a minute. We got this. Did you see this story about the January 6th guy got arrested August 30th in Arkansas for involvement in the Capitol riots on January 6th, but that they went into his house and the gun safe manufacturer Liberty Safe gave the FBI access to this guy's safe?
Oof. What kind of laws are they breaking, Doug? Because I don't know the answer to that one.
Well, I mean, here's my problem. I mean, it is an issue here. I'll tell you this. Apple refused to give, the password, like even to the San Bernardino shooting about 5 years ago. They refused to give the FBI access to to try and break in, or to go backdoor on one of the Apple phones to see what was on it.
Because it's a crazy precedent to set.
Yeah, the Liberty Safe said it only gave the feds access code after receiving proof of the warrant. Okay, Apple was served with lots of things and said, we're not doing that. It's not in a part of this. Liberty Safe now is in deep issue with a lot of folks on the social media platforms and everywhere else. Charlie Kirk, another Salem guy here, Turning Point guy, Liberty Safe is an enemy to gun owners. He said they could have fought the warrant like Apple did, instead buckled and bent over. Your guns are not safe with Liberty Safe. Boycott, ridicule, ruin their company.
Oh, it's going to happen. They're done.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
done.
And here's the interesting thing. I was actually looking. And Lisa and I were just talking about this. We need a safe, and I need a bigger safe to keep papers in, and also guns. And by the way, I have the answer is how many guns I have? Yes. And the answer is you don't need to know, and it's none of your business. And but I wanted a place to keep them, especially some of the old rifles and stuff that I have. And so I was actually looking at one of these bigger stand-up safes, and I will tell you one that I'm not going to look at now. And that's Liberty.
That's right.
I mean, as much problem as we're having right now, and we just posted on the Doug Collins podcast. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to actually talk about this on a future episode as we go forward. I did the repeat of our episode we made last year on the bad gun bill that I talked to y'all about last year. I told you it was going to lead to personal. There's no such thing as the gun show loophole. It is private sales. And if you ever fall for, we're closing the gun show loophole. No, you're basically putting private sales on the market for a background check. Now, if you want to say that should be fine, I disagree with you vehemently, and I'll fight you vehemently that shouldn't happen, especially in this regard. But because I think there was already measurements in place. This is what bothers me the most about this, James, is there are already measurements in place to if somebody was doing it for a living, that they needed to get a federal firearms registration. Okay, that if they were selling more than X amount of guns, that then you're going to put yourself in that. But what they're doing now, and what the Biden administration has just done, is just what we said they were going to do last year. Republicans who voted for this bill ought to be ashamed of themselves, and especially if they've had any Second Amendment sayings in their life. Because now if I sold you a gun, and I'm, again, if I've had a gun for 20 years, I don't know how much I paid for it, and I'm making a profit on the gun, I would have to be, quote, a registered firearms dealer. And somewhere along the line, we got to get a background check. Now, James, does that mean I have to get the background check? Do I have to pay for it? Do you have to pay for it? Do I have to file it? Do I have to then file paperwork on when we sold it? How we did? It's just, again, folks, we're going to talk about this more, but James, this is exactly this problem. Liberty to do this at this point in this time, I just look. There's going to be a lot of Second Amendment. A lot of folks who like their guns, who are registered. However I'm a concealed carry permit owner myself. I mean, my guns are legal, and that's all that you need to know.
Doug, this is. I know you're a fan of community. I mean, not community. Parks and Rec. So I'm going to quote an episode of Parks and Rec here. So between Leslie Knope and Ron Swanson's mother. And she says, why do you have so many guns? And she goes, this is America, isn't it? And she says, yeah. And she says, then I don't have to answer stupid questions while standing on my own property.
Exactly right. Amen.
That's that. I might even just put that in the show because that would sum it up.
That would have put it in because I think that is it. So anyway, that's why we love Friday's Finest, because it gets me allows me to dump all over this. And speaking of dump, I'm so sorry, but yes, we do have to mention one quickly before we get to football.
Oof. Doug,
the plane ride.
Transition. That's the worst transition. Oh my god! I didn't catch it at first. Oh, Doug.
A Delta flight out of Atlanta, flying to Spain, I believe it was, had to turn around about 2 hours into flight because somebody. I mean, God, you feel bad for them. You really have to feel bad for them. They couldn't handle their. They were sick at their stomach, I guess, but it came out the wrong end and went all the way down the aisle, and literally they called it a biohazard and had to return to Atlanta. Can you imagine?
Oh, Doug,
2.5 hours.
I can imagine because I am a witness to this exact same situation.
Oh no.
Not on a plane, but on a school bus.
Oh God.
This girl literally changed her name. Afterward, I'm not even kidding. Her name actually changed. Not sure it was for that reason, but it should have been. A girl got on a bus. We were driving to a theater for school, something, some field trip. And she had to go, and it came down and all along the bus line. Doug, I'm picturing what this girl went through in high school. Could you imagine what adults going through on a plane where she can't escape? You can get off a bus and you can just go home. Someone can pick you up. You can't do that on a flight. You're in the air. You're in a metal tube in the sky that is now a biohazard because of you. No way. That's it. I'm leaving the country. I'm finding a new home, new name, new address, new phone number. You are never going to hear from me again.
Yeah, it is. You feel sorry for them, but at the same point,
my God.
Also you got to feel sorry for the rest of that plane because it was just bad.
It got on somebody's shoe. And they were not happy.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then I read another article just the other day that 2 people got kicked off a plane because I can't remember which airline it was. I want to say it was in England. There was undoubtedly somebody had threw up in the seats. Oof. And they had cleaned it to a point, but you could still smell it. Oof. And they were going to make them sit there. And
my God.
They pitched a fit about it, and then they got kicked off the plane. So.
I would have been kicked off that plane too.
Yeah, I would have
given my money back though.
I'm out of here. All right. Well, now that we've flushed that topic, we can continue on here. See, I'm on it today. I'm back. All right, here we go. We got to put in our picks for the week, and I asked you, but I don't think I worded it right. How did we? I know y'all didn't pick last week with Chip, but we did some the first week. How did we do that first week?
Hold on. Hold on one second. I don't know where my notes are here.
I wish I'd have been here last week because I would have picked Colorado, by the way.
Let me see if I think I might have saved it in my phone here.
Okay.
Do you have the winners by any chance? Because I have it all written down here. Okay. So I picked USC. You picked San Jose for whatever reason.
Yeah, and USC finally came back and pulled it out. So
that's
you won
right.
That one.
Utah won.
Yep, and even giving away our points there, we were fine.
Yeah. Jacksonville, did they pull it off?
No, Jack State lost.
Okay, so we lost that one.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt
won.
So we both got that one. And then I took Mexico and you took UMass.
And I think UMass may have won that one. I have to go back and look.
Oh, okay. So Doug gets
one
on that
points
one.
Too.
Yeah, no, I'm looking now. Wait, no, did they play yet? Because it says Mexico versus UMass on September
It was
23rd.
It was week 0.
Let's see. Yeah, 41-30, Massachusetts. So I think the line was.
Yeah, what was the spread?
Let's see. Yeah, you take that one, Doug. I think the spread was 7. So I think you took that one, and that was the last one we did.
Yeah.
So,
okay. All right. Well, let's pick.
You're
this
the
up.
win. We tied up, so we'll figure it out this week.
All right, we'll figure. All right, here we go. We're gonna do. Let's do some pro games this week, and we'll pick it out. Start off Falcons and Panthers. I'll take the Falcons and give the 3.5.
Yeah, I think the Falcons are going to win by like 10 points. I'm with you.
Okay. Ravens Texans, 10 points.
Oh, it's 10 points. That's a lot, but yeah, no, I'm still taking the Ravens in the points.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. Browns Bengals, 2.5.
Give me. Yeah, I think the Bengals are going to win by 7.
Yeah, we're pretty close on that one as well. Bengals. I agree with you on Bengals. Colts Jaguar, 4.5.
Jaguars are going to win by 20. Colts are a mess. Though, I will say Anthony Richardson will still have a decent game.
We're both taking Jaguars and giving the 4.5 on that one. Here's one. Vikings and Buccaneers, 5.5.
Vikings by 50.
All right, I'll take this one. Give me the 5.5, and I'll take the Bucks.
Oh my God, Doug! I took Atlanta for you. Okay, wait till the Raiders come by. All right.
I mean, we're just trying.
Wait till we get to the Raiders.
All right. Let me find a good one here. Oh, here's one. Commanders and Cardinals, 7.
Ooh. Now, you know what? The Cardinals are not going to cover. The Commanders are way too good for them. The Cardinals are going to be picking Caleb Williams this year.
Okay, I'll take the Cardinals as well there. Let's see. All right, we will do this. Broncos Raiders, 4. Broncos are Broncos are favored by 4.
Oh, easy.
I'll take I'll take my 4 and the Raiders.
Silly choice.
No. Giants Cowboys, 3.5.
Give me the Giants for sure. Give me the Giants.
You'll take the 3.5.
I have no belief in the Cowboys this year.
I'll go opposite on this one. I just think Dak's under too much pressure, so I'll take the Cowboys and give the 3.5.
Fair enough.
Here's our last one: Jets Bills, 2.5. Bills are favored.
You know what? Give me the Bills by a touchdown.
Oh, okay, so you'll take the Bills and give the. I'll take the Jets.
Yeah.
I'll take the Jets. I think Rodgers.
Oh wait, we got to do tonight's though. We do have to do tonight. Well, I'm sorry, the Chiefs Lions game should already be played, but we filmed this the day before. I'm taking
we're taping the day before, so folks, you'll hear about this one tomorrow. You'll know who's up already on this one.
Chiefs are taking this one for sure.
You're okay. I'm gonna take. I'll tell you what, just for fun here, I'll take the Lions and I'll take the 4.5.
Ew, you disgust me, Doug. Even if you're joking. I'm sick of this Lions.
Kelsey's not playing. I mean, look,
Goff.
Goff.
No Chris Jones. I know. I'm so sick of this Lions team already. this showboating nonsense. I know they got Dan Campbell biting kneecaps. I can't stand it. I am just infuriated.
There we go. All right, we'll make those up, put them up, and get them ready for that. But before we go, I have one last thing. Have you seen the Manning cast video out there looking for the third?
Yes, absolutely loved it. They should have chose Kirk Cousins.
Oh my God, that was that was just so good. And then having Brady stand outside, it was. I mean,
folks, with a dog. They left him with a dog. It was perfect.
If you're not looked it up, you haven't. All right, folks, that's it for the Doug Collins Show, Friday's Finest. Glad to have you with us. We will be back again, of course, James and I, next Friday, and we'll go over our whip picks and winners, and we'll find out everything else that we can share with you. Some good, some bad, some, rather disgusting. But, hey, it's Friday's Finest. That's what we do here on it. So, everybody, have a great one. We'll see you next I'll see you next time on the Doug Collins Podcast. We'll be on next Friday for the Friday's Finest. Say goodbye, James.
Take care, everybody. It's football weekend. Enjoy it.
Yay. Bye.